right, y'all. So we got a lot that we gotta talk about, bro. We have a lot that we need to discuss. It's crazy out here in these streets, man. It is crazy out here. It is crazy out here, dog. There's just no way that this is for real. There's just no way that this shit's real, bro. So we definitely got a lot that we gotta cover in like a short span of time. So I'm gonna just really get straight to it. I'm gonna give y'all like a little bit, just like a little longer to get through here. But we gotta really talk about this, bro. We absolutely have to talk about this. It is ridiculous what's going on out here, bro. All right. So I'm gonna just get right into it, bro. All right, y'all can come through and do, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can come through. So, all right. For those that maybe don't know, okay? Um there is a fitness influencer, right? Well, she was a fitness influencer and she's kind of migrated over to, health and wellness and, holistic teachings and juicing and things like that, right? She kind of pivoted, right? But she's a very, very well known, influencer. And her name, let me just pull it up right here in case y'all didn't know. Her name is Victoria Everest. Okay. I'm gonna pull up her IG, right? I'm gonna pull up her IG for y'all. So boom. So here's her IG, okay? For those that, are unaware. Okay. So this is the person that we're gonna be talking about in this live stream. Now I was gonna make a video about this, but it's just so many moving parts, so many different things that I just said, fuck it. We just gonna all go through it together, and this is just what we're gonna do. All right. So this chick right here, all right, this chick right here, all right, she has been caught in a megawatt lie of actually lies, like multiple plural. She has been caught essentially red-handed with falsely accusing multiple men, apparently, of, I'll say the R word. Okay. I'm not going to say the whole thing, but the R word. Okay. Grapes, if you will. All right. And there's no doubt about this. Like, it ain't no, like, I'm saying it, hearsay, he say, she say shit. No, this is straight up like she got caught red handed. Okay. And I don't see I don't see really a lot of people talking about this, at least from a US perspective. Now, she is UK based. All right. I think right now she's like somewhere in Jamaica or whatever. I think she's kind of like on the run or whatever the case may be. She's posting as if none of this shit is going on. But there's so much that we got to get into. So this is who I'm going to be talking about. All right. So she has accused apparently multiple men, but the most recent dude is her boyfriend, by the name, his name is Denzel or Denzel, whatever. Now, how do we know this, right? How do we know this information? So we know this information because her boyfriend's friend by the name of Gucci, all right, not Gucci Mane, all right, but he goes by the name of Gucci, Gucci Walker, all right, another UK based, I guess, artist or celebrity or whatever the case may be. He befriended her, and he essentially, was recording her admitting to it. Okay. And it got out. she's recently done an interview where she's kind of giving her side of the story, and Gucci did his interview. It just got released today. And so we're gonna really kind of go through all of this. So let me get up out of here. So we're gonna go through the actual like video, right? That this guy Gucci took. So let's go through that, right? So I'm gonna pull up the video. I'm gonna pull the video up. All right, so this is the video. Hold on one second. All right, this is the video. So everybody listen up. All right, everybody listen up.
Their realizations.
I think you shouldn't go past 31 doing the toxic.
As a matter of fact, no. I don't even want that nigga cut out. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna actually pull up homeboy Facebook. I'm gonna pull up the Facebook. All right. So, and it actually breaks down that this happened like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. All right. But we're gonna go through it like this. All right. So let me zoom it in. Boom. All right. So this guy, Gucci Walker. All right. So September 25th at 1:09, this guy says, a couple of years ago, I got told that a guy I know was being falsely accused of the R word. He was on bail, and honestly, there was no way he would beat the case because the woman planned it very well. She invited him over, they had sex, then she went to her bathroom and called the police, accusing him of the R word. So he got arrested at the scene in her house while the evidence of his sperm was still inside her. This guy was going to go to prison for such an evil plan. Not just one count of the R word, but 2 counts. He would have gotten 12 years minimum. When I heard it, I felt sick. I had to try and help. I went to her gym and I made friends with her and worked my charm. It didn't take long before she eventually started bragging to me about the way she hurts men, right? Again, men, plural, y'all. Plural. Okay? Wait a minute. I had my phone secretly filming the whole conversation, and the police dropped the case against the guy. We live in an evil world. Men really need to be careful with some women. All right, so y'all all got that, right? Now here's part 1 of the video, right? It's like 2.5 minutes. We're gonna watch. This needs
Their realizations.
I think you shouldn't.
Their realizations.
All right, listen up.
I think you shouldn't go past 31 doing the toxic stuff. Yeah, because it's too much energy you're investing out.
That's what the therapist was saying yesterday. It was like, is it not exhausting?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not though.
So you're gonna live. You've done for 5 years hurting men. You enjoy it, and you're gonna keep going. But the energy that you're putting into that, you could triple your income. You could be doing other things. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. 2, in all reality, you're killing yourself with a fake rape charge. Can I tell you where? You're gonna have to put in energy to get a fake rape charge across. But if it doesn't go according to plan, it'll bounce back on you, and it'll be obviously they will have medical.
I've done all this. There's evidence. I've given him my clothes. He banged me, babe. Like we had sex, yeah. And he's denying that he was even there.
How can you do that if you got arrested in your house?
No, so one was for an occasion where he left.
Yeah.
The other time he was there, but he claimed that we didn't have sex, but there was evidence to say that we had.
Alright, cool. Yeah. You can.
I don't care. I want to take him to the cleaners, babe.
Yeah.
I want to take him to the cleaners. Now, you can clearly see that this is her, right? This is Victoria. Like, there's no mistaking that this is her, okay? And she literally gets up on here. Like, they're at the gym, right? He's recording her secretly, right? She don't know that he's recording her. But here she is in black and white, literally admitting to falsely accusing her boyfriend of a very, very bad thing.
You can.
I don't care. I want to take him to the cleaners, babe.
Yeah, but this is what I thought about. This is what I was funny. I thought about him.
And I know I hate him because he's so much like me, and it annoys me.
But Victoria, listen to me carefully, yeah? your thing, your skill is that you can detect a victim you want and rape them. That's what you do. You enjoy doing it. Rape charge doesn't mean you've got a victim involved.
No, it doesn't.
It just means
I've just got one over. That's all.
Yeah, but it means you got desperate that you weren't able to hurt him. You pulled a fake rape. You know what I'm saying? So
that's still gonna hurt him. He hates that. And the thing is, he's gonna go out continuing to fuck up girls' lives. Yeah. With an assault charge and a rape charge, he'll think twice about what he does next time when he meets the next girl.
Yeah, fair
He'll
enough.
think
But
twice
it's
about
a
it.
fake rape charge. So what do you want from that though?
So what? The guy lies for a living. Let him have a taste of his own medicine.
What?
That's all. Let him continue lying for a living. That's what he does. He spins stories and sells dreams for a living. End of. So when a story spun on him, let him swallow that pill.
But I get your angle. But then you can't say you won or you was able
It's
to.
not a
hurt.
game. I'm done. I've pulled back. I've done what I've done. I've played my move. I've moved on. Like.
But you weren't able to hurt. The way you usually like to hurt men, you weren't able to hurt him.
Well, I did, because in the relationship, I continued to cheat on him. Remember, I realized.
Wow. That is insane, bro. That is insane. So for those that do not know, okay, this chick, Victoria Everest, right? She is talking to this Gucci guy, right? Who's friends with the boyfriend that she is, falsely accusing, right? He found out about it and befriended her and said, hey, what's up with this fake charge, right? Like, what's up with this? You know what I'm saying? You charging them. And she essentially said that it's all a lie. Okay. It didn't happen. Right. Now they did, do and they did get together and smash, but it wasn't what she said it was. Right. So she lied. Okay. Now he caught this on film, right? Now there's apparently another part to this. Okay. So we're going to look at this. All right. So this is what he said. Here is part 2 of the video I secretly filmed, right? Victoria Everest. Here she talks in further detail about her reasons for pulling a fake charge against the guy that I know. So let's go.
You enjoy hurting men in ways that they couldn't possibly imagine. Yeah, it's something you get a satisfaction out of. It's a toxic trait. It's narcissistic. Like,
You know what the biggest
let me
pain?
finish.
Yeah,
Let me explain.
Yeah.
It's a narcissistic thing, but that's your thing. Fine. You look for victims, rope them in, you break them emotionally, mentally, financially. You weren't able to do that with Denzel Thompson.
I did do that.
Okay, so if you were able to
I
break
did,
him,
'cause
why
even me,
file a fake rape charge? How does that?
Even me, like, imagine, he lived in my yard, yeah? Fed, watered, clean, fucked, yeah? The love that I gave him was unconditional in that time. To then pull the carpet from under your feet that alone, yeah, losing the best thing that's ever happened to you. Like, he's never lived the way he's
But
lived.
by a fake rape charge, though. By a lie.
That was just the icing on the cake, babe. Like, that was
That was the icing on the cake. Yo, this chick is scandalous, bro.
neither here or there. That was just the principle thing.
Scandalous.
I went to spend New Year's in a jail cell for 3 days, and I did it. Yeah, that's how he started his New Year's. I started my New Year's on a private island in a £7,000 a night hotel with my son.
Based on a false
I don't
accusation.
care. A taste of his own medicine. I don't give a fuck.
A taste of his own
He
medicine.
could get away with shit. And not have to swallow no medicine. Like, the thing is, he always thinks he's always got the upper hand and won over. That's his thing, and I just need to make him recognise that he hasn't. Whether it's fake or not, it's irrelevant. He lives his life off fakeness. That's what he does.
What? Fake or not, it's irrelevant? What the hell is she talking about? Nah, she gotta go, bro.
His whole life is a fraud. Met him, he told me he has a house. He doesn't even have a room at his mum's yard. His mum's yard is like literally, she hoards, isn't it? So the house is full. His 2 sisters live there. The guy's a tramp. He hasn't got a license. He hasn't got a car. He's got nothing to his name. Telling me he's got a railway company. Doesn't pay taxes. He's not on a limit. Like, the guy's whole life is a fraud. But I literally fell for it. Yeah. Because I didn't.
But you fell for a lie.
I fell for a lie.
Men have fallen for your lie for years.
And the one time I meet, and the
You
thing
fell for
was,
someone else's lie, and then you found a fake rape charge. What does that say about you, though?
I'm just as shallow as he is.
Yeah, but he wouldn't. Not as shallow to file a fake rape charge just to ruin someone's life.
He can't touch me. He can't come near me.
Who? No. I'll make sure that I'll pattern that anyway. That's a fact.
He can't do that. Like, the thing is, it was my mistake for even messing with him in the first place, for even entertaining it. And I told you, last year was one of the biggest lessons for me. I shouldn't have
Do your
touched
shit.
it.
You're gonna have to be 15. You've had a long. 10. Let's go. 9. Yep. 8.
All right, so now they just working out. But did y'all hear that? Like, y'all heard that, right? This chick literally is lying about the whole fucking thing. Now, granted, this conversation happened like 5 or 6 years ago, right? From what Gucci says. And I'll get to that in a minute. Now, once this whole thing came out, okay? Once this whole video came out, you know, it kind of set the internet on fire, right? Now, we just now are seeing this video. Mind you, this whole thing happened years ago. But the fact that we're just now finding out about it, you know, is irrelevant. It is what it is, right? But the fact that this chick that a lot of people follow, like I remember at one point I followed this chick, right? You know, motivation, you know what I'm saying? You know, she nice to look at, you know, follow her years ago. I fell off years ago, but when I saw her, like, I was like, oh shit, this is the chick? Oh my God. So we move forward. Now, recently, all right, she was interviewed by Trend Central, okay? And that interview is, you know, a little long. You know, I try to skip forward past bullshit, but I'm gonna pull it up right now. So we just gonna go through that and do what we gotta do. All right, now before I do that, actually let me show you some of Gucci's stuff real quick, right? So Gucci, right? The guy that recorded this video said, "Make no mistake about it, I'm prepared and waiting, expecting backlash and revenge against me because for the video I shared regarding Victoria Everest and the fake charges. Even before I shared the video, people had the worst to say about me. So you can only imagine now how many people are vexed with me now." Now, mind you, these are UK. You know, these are people from the UK. So they vocabulary and their language might be a little bit different, but you get what they're trying to say. There's really nothing that could be said about me now that hasn't already been said. So I really don't care. But suicide is a real thing, and if the video I posted has helped other men who have been in similar situations or could have potentially ended up in such a situation of fake charges, then regardless of any backlash or revenge that comes against me, it was worth me posting it, and that's all that matters. All right. Let me see what else he said, and it looks like that's about it for that. Okay. Now I want to pull up some other things because it's fucking insane, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's honestly insane, bro. Like, what do y'all think about that shit so far? It's wild, right? Were any of you following her? Because I know I was. All right, so these are now apparently this was shared all over the place, right? As it would be. Now, Victoria on her Instagram was going in people's DMs trying to get the video taken down. So, here is one of the DMs, right? So, Victoria, right? This is her IG. She says, "Please, can you remove this?" Right? This person by the name of John, right? It says, "Remove what?" She says, "The video of me." Person says, "Oh yes, I'm sorry. I could take it down right now." She then responds and says, "The video you've shared is highly sensitive and deeply personal. I was a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of a serial abuse. It was a big case with the police that spanned over 3 years. This man went as far as assaulting both me and my child." Right? So then he responds and says, "Oh wow, I must have listened to it wrong. That's totally reasonable. You're right." So then Victoria says, honestly, John, the video was taken over 8 years ago, right? So that's important. 8 years ago. Created without my consent and released this week, intended to defame me. It's not the whole context. So then this person said, I'm just kidding, you retard. You were caught on camera talking about destroying a man's life with a fake charge. Allegation is never coming down. Eat shit. So, you know, she is clearly real. All right. It's clearly real. So, now she did do an interview with Trend Central. Now, I gotta be honest with y'all. I did catch a couple of clips of the interview. We still gonna go through it, but this shit is fucking crazy. All right. This was probably one of the worst interviews I've ever seen of, you know, a platform interviewing someone that has accused somebody of such heinous acts and just essentially allowing them to just talk bullshit. So we're gonna go do it. All right, I'm about to pull up the video.
Jason.
All right.
So let's talk about the.
All right. So here we go. So this is Trend Central, and we're gonna go through it. So hold up. All right. Here we go.
And I had to go on probation, so I have a criminal record. And
Are you saying that you wanted to get him back because of the abuse?
I called the police 19 times because I was at fear of my life.
What was the psychological effects that it had on you? How would you describe that?
I kept finding myself in relationships with abusive men.
Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
I witnessed the most horrific acts of domestic violence. I'm talking, you know, my mum was regularly beaten black and blue.
You said that this video was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe somebody could hold on to a video that long.
Why is it being released now?
I don't know. I think you need to ask him that question.
When did you decide that in order for me to get him back, because that's what you mentioned in the video, that you were going to make this false allegation? Like, when did that thought process land?
Like, I felt that at that point that the only person that could stop this man was me.
All right. So this is Victoria
Welcome
Everest,
to Off the
right?
Records, a platform for individuals to speak their truth, discuss their thoughts, and own their stories. We will be having candid conversations, dissecting various events, asking the questions we are all eager to know, and hopefully coming to graceful conclusions. I'm your host, Midday Oni, the one and only. Let's get into it.
Okay, we get it. We get it. Let's get into it.
Controversial and very sensitive to a lot of people. She is here today to discuss her side of the story and hopefully clear some questions up. Please welcome to the show, Victoria Everest. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. I mean, this has been a very intense couple of days for you, I'm sure. How have you been feeling? How are you managing?
Actually, I've managed to stay quite grounded. I've got an excellent support network and community around me, which I'm just incredibly grateful for. I'm in the middle of a 21-day juice fast, which has really just allowed me to just not react to things that are being saying online, but really just respond with truth and clarity. So I'm super, super grateful for this opportunity.
Respond with
to set the
truth is
record
interesting.
straight.
Well, thank you for joining us to set the record straight. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So before we get started, tell us a bit about yourself. You've got an amazing platform in terms of wellness and fitness and caring for the body. So for those people that don't know you prior to this scandal, tell us a bit more about what you do and who you are.
So I run.
What you mean? Like, why are you air quoting it? It is a scandal. Like, you fucking lied. Like, we saw it in 4K and you admitted to it. What the hell?
One of the fastest growing detox and wellness academies in the world, and we teach people essentially based
All right,
around
nobody
fasting.
cares.
Really
Nobody
part of that
cares.
community. So I'm currently in Jamaica. We are in the middle of running our Reset Wellness Retreat, where people across the world fly in for a week to come and detox and reset their body in paradise. It's been an incredible experience, and yes, we're right in the middle of the retreat, but it was really important for me to be able to take the time out and respond to you know this video and really just shed some light around it as well.
Okay, that's good to hear. obviously from your brand being very wellness, fitness, dietary, just looking after your body, it's very contradictory to what has come out recently about you. So let's talk about it. Obviously there's been a lot of conversation surrounding you and this leaked video online. Let's kind of start by, I think what we need to kind of clarify is your relationship with men, first and foremost, because certain things that you were saying in the video kind of showed that you don't like men. So kind of talk me through that. Like, what's your relationship or your view towards men holistically?
So just to give you a bit of context, my mum's Turkish, my father's Nigerian. I was born and raised in London. Both my parents came to the UK as immigrants back in the 80s. My mum actually couldn't speak any English. Turkish was our main spoken language at home, and I actually ended up learning English at school. My relationship with my father was a very interesting one. He
Clearly.
was a well-renowned journalist, had a publication called Business in Africa magazine, and I was his princess. I had a very, very close relationship with him growing up until the age of 12, when he then moved to South Africa to pursue his business and his career. And at that point, I would see him once or twice a year, but he didn't play an active role in my life at all, kind of going into early teenagehood, adolescence. And at the age of 19, at 47 years young, his life was tragically taken. He was assassinated by a family member, and had to losing I would say losing my best friend. I looked up to my dad so much. We spent so much time together, even to have his life, for sure.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
Not having my dad around growing up didn't influence my view on men. I think what it did
I'm
do-
so sorry. Like what? Like bro, what are we talking about right now? Like we're not no, we're not doing that. Like we need to get to the actual like
their best with me. I am an only child, and I think by the point where they realize, and 6 years young, so that's talking about my mum. Always get a little bit emotional, but up until the age of 12, my mum played a really active role in my life. She tried it. I think, but we were living in South Kashmir began, and
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever.
Nah, we're gonna fast forward through a lot of this, y'all. We fast forward through a lot of this.
Those teenagers throughout the adolescence years, cultures, especially Turkish, Arabic, any kind of ethnic culture, to be at that point, he strangled me, so I lost consciousness.
All right.
At the time, I would take him back, believe his lies, and he was arrested. A new Range Rover belonged to.
Charged with a false.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
I'm just gonna cut you because you said the.
All right, here we go. Damn.
When I look back at that video, because the manipulation, be naive enough, because I'm someone who wears their heart on their sleeve naturally in every scenario, every situation. And one of the things that led me to even entering this relationship was just being vulnerable enough to take people for face value. The manipulation that went into pursuing the relationship from him, early on in the relationship, really was, when I look back and reflect, I think, okay, I definitely was in a really broken state. When I look back at that video, because, I've watched it a couple times, and just to set the record straight, that video was filmed almost 10 years ago. The person who I was speaking about in that video wasn't arrested and wasn't prosecuted. Whilst I said some extremely, extremely, vile things in that video, a lot of people have really focused on the hate and the anger. And
I'm so sorry. I'm just going to cut you because you said the person in the video that you were referring to was not prosecuted, was not arrested, was not charged.
Absolutely not. He wasn't, he wasn't charged. He didn't go to jail. And actually the video was provided to the police. And because the video was provided to the police, he managed to get away with those charges. And as a result of that video being provided to the police, I was charged, caution, and I had to go on probation. So I have a criminal record. And
as you should.
That was a decision made by the police at the time. So I really had to pay the price.
Okay, so we're moving along a bit quickly here. So the video, the man that released the video, Gucci Walker, I believe, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He released a statement saying that his friend, the reason why he made the video was because his friend was charged with a false rape case. Yeah. And at the hands of you, you planned it. You had the man in your house where you both had intercourse, and then the police caught him there. So he was going to jail. He couldn't bust case on this particular matter because he was found in your house. But you're saying that that didn't happen.
No, so he did get arrested, and because the video, was provided to the police as evidence, he was released. He never got charged, and I never saw Denzel again. That was, over 8 years ago. We've never spoken, we've never seen. He went on with his life. I went, we made a lot of mistakes during that relationship. That was probably one of the most traumatic. I've been through two very, very traumatic relationships in my life. One of those, when I say traumatic, violent and abusive, one of those was with Denzel, the person that was in question in the video. And his ex-partner warned me. She was a teacher. She had a non-molestation order against him. And she said, look, this guy, she told me exactly what was going to happen in the relationship. And I didn't believe her. Denzel, convinced me also not to believe her, and I really paid the price of that. One of the biggest things, that came out of the relationship is during the time that we were together, I fell pregnant. I ended up contracting an STI. He gave me gonorrhea at the time. At the time I was working at Microsoft, I had a very successful career with a 6-figure salary. And he told me that he was an ex-football player, semi-pro football player, only to later discover that actually he worked on the railways. He was living at his mum's house on the couch. And the car that he'd met me in, which was a brand new Range Rover, belonged to...
Time out. What does this have to do with this whole thing? Like, what does your material possessions have to do with the fact that you just lied on a man? And apparently there's been several dudes that you've done this to. So what? Oh, he told me he was this, and I really found out he was that. Oh, he living that. Like, you okay, cool. You throwing shots at this dude, but like at the end of the day, you were still messing with him. At the end of the day, like, you were still dealing with him. Like, you also have blame on this as well. You know what I mean? Like, all of this wasn't a problem for you up until now. You know what I mean? Like, now, granted, you said that he was abusing you or whatever the case may be. And if he was doing that, he should definitely be held accountable for that. But we don't have no evidence that he was doing that. We don't. But we do have evidence of you lying on this dude. That's what we do have evidence.
Belonged to the girl that he was dating at Brown Eagle. It was someone else's vehicle. So that was only, months into the relationship, I was discovering these things. I found a secret phone in his car. There was a whole array of women that he was meeting up with, and sleeping with at the same time while he was living in my house. And any single time that I confronted him, the backlash was, a verbal, physical abuse. And during the time that we was in the relationship, I called the police 19 times because I was at fear of my life. My son was living with me at the time. I'm a single mom, and my son was around 7 at the time. And that was one of the worst things, that I've ever experienced, was to see my son, witness me getting beaten up by this man. And he wasn't just a man, he was a street thug. He was a guy off the street, from the ends. And, and because of the fact that each time I called the police for abuse, whether it was abuse, in front of or, isolated maybe he wasn't at home, because there was a child at home, social services were involved. And at the last point where he was arrested, my main concern was keeping him safe. That was the ultimate thing for me. Social services were, I was at complete risk of losing him because I was in this relationship with this abusive man.
Wow, man. I mean, she's trying to play the victim card, but I don't know if it's working.
Everything that you're going through in this relationship, the abuse that you were enduring, when did you decide that in order for me to get him back, because that's what you mentioned in the video, that you were going to make this false allegation? Like, when did that thought process land?
So every single time the police were called, the follow-up was made. There was a non-molestation order. There was a restraining order, so he couldn't, come back to the house. But he would always turn back up at the house, crying, begging me, apologizing. He's not going to do it again, and I need to forgive him, that I'm his baby girl, and everything was going to be okay. And being naive and vulnerable, at the time I would take him back, believe his lies, and not realizing at the time I was experiencing, what we call today as severe narcissism. But there came a point where the social services were like, you know, we're gonna. You're now putting your child in risk by staying in this relationship. It was only in hindsight, when I look back, I take responsibility for being the codependent to enable that relationship to go on for as long as it did. I definitely take accountability, you know, for the things that I said in that video, the hurtful things that I said. I hate men. One of the things I referred to in that video specifically was the fact that I say to the person that was recording the video that I'm going to put a stop to this so that he doesn't go and do this to other women. You know, like, I felt that.
I mean, yo, what are you, the fucking Avengers? Like, yo, so you putting a false allegation on somebody like this is supposed to stop him from what? Like, okay, you say the guy's a piece of shit, right? Okay, you know, he's a piece of shit. You said you called the police, you did everything, you know, okay. But like, how, like, again, it's still not adding up as to why you decided to just put a charge, like put an allegation like this up against somebody that you know like that. Like, because let's be real, like, if someone had did that to you, that'd be fucked up. So why are you doing it to this person? Like, anytime you put any kind of allegation like that on anybody, their life is essentially over. Like, there's two tiers that are just completely despicable. And the two tiers are this: you dealing with kids, right? You touching kids and all that kind of stuff. That's despicable, right? And then underneath of that is exactly what she's accusing this person of, right? So those are the two that is just completely unforgivable, right? Everything else that falls underneath that, but those two are ridiculous. This right here, to accuse somebody of it regardless, is, I mean, that's like a career ender right there.
At that point, that the only person that could stop this man was me, and the only way that I could stop him was by sending him to jail. And the reason behind that was, like, I didn't want anyone else.
Victoria, I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna interject here.
Yeah.
So, are you saying that you wanted to get him back because of the abuse? Because even though you're mentioning things that he's done, I'm still a bit hazy on what he actually did to you.
Thank you. Me too.
What was the 13th reason as to why you felt like, I'm going to get him arrested? What was he actually doing to you?
He'd beaten me up in front of. He beating me black and blue. It wasn't just, you know, you know, my mouth was swollen. I had blood. My eyes, you know, my eyes. It was just essentially, it was a repeat of what I had been experiencing growing up. At that point, he strangled me, so I lost consciousness. And that was a final straw for me. That was it, because I said to myself, like, there's no way I can keep going through this. At the time, my mum was still alive, and she was very much, you know, encouraging me to get the law involved and you know, really make sure that I can draw a line and be able to move on, you know, from this relationship. And
Look, sorry, looking back, why did you feel like this was the best course of action for you to
I
take?
mean, that's
when I
the
look
big
back at
question.
why I would have taken that, you know, that why I would have been so drastic and so extreme in terms of my response. It wasn't even a response, it was a reaction. It was a reaction. Because I was terrified of what he would do to me, that he would continue to do it to me, put me at harm, put my son in harm, put other women in harm. And I felt like I said, I could be the one to stop that and change that, not realizing, you know, that we don't have the ability to change anyone. We can only change ourselves. And unfortunately, I messed up. I made a really stupid decision in making that statement. And, you know, I had to pay the price. I really had to pay the price. Not only did somebody get away scotch-free from the offenses that they committed, but I ended up, you know, having a criminal record because of it. Ultimately, that wasn't the end. You know, like, I had to do, you know, that was the beginning of, and I think I even mentioned it in that recording, that, you know, that's what my therapist said. I've been in therapy for almost coming up to 8 years now. And that was the beginning of my therapy. That was the beginning of realizing, you know, my part to play, how I enabled the situation. And, you know, ultimately,
yeah, she is
I take responsibility, because ultimately, you know,
scandalous.
I didn't have any self-worth for myself. If I had enough self-worth for myself, I would never let a man like that in my space, in my home, or at my child. I had no value of that. And I think that's where it all begun for me.
Scandalous, man.
I mean, the abuse that you've endured is horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I'm so sorry that you went through that. But I think it's very important to kind of, like, think about the repercussions that a rape charge has. Did you think about that? Because, for example, people that go to prison for rape, are, you know, that sometimes they get killed because of the allegations. So obviously, you sending someone to prison, that's number one, taking years off of their life for something that they didn't do, and there's a
Right.
possibility that they could literally die in prison. Did that thought process go through your mind at all?
No.
At that time, I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't cross my mind
Exactly.
at all. My main thing that was on my mind is keeping myself safe and keeping my son safe and making sure that, you know, I don't fall victim to this abuser again. And like I said, it's not right. I don't condone anything I said in that video. I think it's really important to, you know, to make a very clear distinction in that the person in that video that was speaking is merely just a shell of the person I am today.
Oh my God. A shell of the person. Here we go. Here we go. Well, yeah, I mean, the person in the video wasn't, you know, who you're looking at now, really, because it looks awfully similar to the person I'm looking at right now.
And I've had to do a lot of work, and that's why my lifestyle is so important to me. You know, when I made that statement, when I said those things on camera, I was a very angry, scorned Black woman who I wanted the guy dead. You know, that's the reality of it. You know, for what he had put me through, for the pain they put me through. And it wasn't just everything I had experienced in that relationship. It was almost like the wrath of what I'd experienced through life and, you know, how I'd seen men, you know, including my stepdad, and, you know, including men that, you know, growing up abuse women. And I feel like at that point, you know, my expression in that video was really just an expression of.
No, bro. See, like you're gonna try to use like, you know, experiences or whatever the case as like an excuse as to the fucked up thing that you did. But if you were really trying to, you know, be an advocate or, you know, try to do something different, right? Then this isn't the way to go about it. Like, this is definitely not how you should have done it. You know what I mean? Like, this was just irresponsible. Like, this was crazy. Like, you could have got this person killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have got this person murked. Like, those, like, again, the two things that I just said, right? As far as like offenses that you could do, both of them will get you murked in prison. Like they have more respect for a bank robber than they do somebody with these kind of charges put on them. Like you can't talk your way out of this, yeah.
Of the wrath and the letdown and the pain. You know, I was a scorned woman, and by making that statement, you know, he didn't go to jail and he didn't get prosecuted. It backfired. And like I said, I really had to sit with the discomfort and the shame around that. And one of the biggest things, you know, I haven't gone into any of the blog posts, and you know, I refuse not to entertain, you know, the gossip or the low vibrational, low frequency conversations. But I will say, you know, quite a few people have messaged and said, "What about your son?" And I think it would have been really irresponsible for me, you know, as a 30-year-old woman at that time, to carry that same mindset through to who I am and the woman I am today, you know, and that would have been irresponsible of me as a mum, you know, not making any changes, not looking in the mirror, not looking at my thoughts, not doing the work to uncondition myself from those thoughts. The reality is, you know, when I fast forward to my life today, you know, I have a very, very healthy relationship with my partner. He's an incredible man. I run retreats across the world.
Hey man, whoever your partner is, run, bro. Run for the fucking hills. This chick out here going crazy with the allegations. Again, this is not like the first time that she's done some shit like this. So I'm gonna try to like look at maybe a couple more minutes of this, and then I'm gonna get to Gucci's side of it.
You know, wellness and detox retreats open to men and women, and we even host men's only retreats. Men need healing as much as women need healing too. I'm an advocate for men being open enough to do the work on themselves.
Of us have experienced. Personally speaking, I wouldn't think I'm gonna falsely accuse this man of rape. Like, is that something that you had done before? How did that even enter into your mind? Is that something that you had seen someone do? Like, why was that the thing that you said, I'm gonna get him via this route, as opposed to for the actual abuse that he was doing?
Because he had actually sexually assaulted me in the relationship. There were so many times in the relationship that he had sex with me without my consent. And I think that's where it all came to, you know, whilst he hadn't, on that occasion, you know, when I reported him, he hadn't raped me. during the time that I was in a relationship, he assaulted me continuously. Like I said, it wasn't just physical abuse, it was mental, emotional. And there was, I can count numerous times in the relationship while we were together, and I did not consent. I didn't want to have sex with him. And he pushed me to, and he forced me to. And unfortunately, like I said, there is no justice in the justice system, and the police couldn't protect me from this man.
Had you made previous reports? Had you gone to the police
I'd
prior?
called the police 19 times. There's a record of 19 separate occasions during the time we was in a relationship for 18 months where I'd called the police for whether it was domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault.
What was it for? What did you call the police for?
For domestic abuse, violence, sexual assault. Throughout the 18 months, there was 9.
And the police didn't do anything. There was no
follow-up because I kept letting the man back into my space. There's only so much that they could do. I was I had a huge part to play in this.
I mean, 1,000%. Like, listen, if the guy was being a piece of shit to you, right? Like, he should 1,000% be held accountable for that. But, the reason why we're all here is because of the fact that you've done this shit. And like, okay, cool. You saying that he, has abused you in some way, right? Or he's, done things to you in the past. But you just said he didn't do it to you when you said that. But, he has done it. But like, why is there no... I don't know. I don't know, man. But like, this just wasn't the way to handle it, Victoria. It just wasn't, straight up. But let me see. Is there any other
toxicity of it? I was in a very toxic, broken space. So the person I was speaking to, I don't know. I didn't know his name I don't know his name. I don't know who the person was. It was a complete stranger. Like he said in the statement, he came up to me in the gym one day. He worked his charm.
What? So you aired out all of this, right, to a complete stranger just because he made some googly eyes at you and smiled at you? Wow, that is crazy. So you airing out all your dirty laundry to a nigga that you don't even know. This girl's crazy, man.
And somehow, got me to whether it was coercion or charm, I don't know, but to really express myself and express the pain.
Did he tell you that he knew Denzel? Did he tell you that he knew him?
He told me that he knew him, and
okay.
He said, I think he said specifically, why would you do that? And I responded, and I was like, he deserves it. I want to take him to the cleaners. Was my exact word. I want to take him to, for all the suffering he put me through. It was a 7-minute video. It has been, edited to really make me seem, there's no justification, but it has been heavily edited.
You said that this video was made nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can't even believe somebody could hold on to a video that long, with the...
Why is it being released now?
I don't know. I think you need to ask him that question.
Okay. So have you not had any interaction with him
None
prior
at all.
to him releasing the video?
None at all.
Okay.
However, there was an interaction with, and I said to you, there was 2 occasions, 2 really abusive relationships that I've experienced in my life. One of those was, over 8 years ago, the one that we just discussed. The second one was more recent. Several years ago, I met a guy while I was traveling. I was doing retreats in Egypt, and during the time, we'd crossed paths, and it was in December, it was around December. He had lost his mum. He's come back to the UK, and he turned up at my door one day, and he was like, "We met in Egypt. Do you remember?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "I've just lost my mum, and I'm going through a tough time. Could I come in?" And I let this guy into my house. And
so just to clarify, this stranger that you met in Egypt came to your door. I'm assuming you gave him your address for him to do that.
Yeah. He came to my door. I gave him my address. He came to my door.
Yeah. And you just let him into your house.
Yeah, I let him into my house.
Yo, you're fucking all right. You're actually insane. Like, this chick is actually crazy. So you talking to strangers, you letting strangers in your house, like niggas you just met, and then you spilling out all your guts to a dude that you literally just met in the gym. And this is like not, some little, oh yeah, like, in 3rd grade I couldn't spell, like, type of stuff. Like, you're literally telling a stranger that you're falsely accusing dudes of things. And he told you the dude that you're falsely accusing, he knew. So that didn't set off any kind of alerts or any kind of alarms in your head to be like, oh, maybe I should stop talking. Wow.
I then had to find the courage, you know, and I've never gone through this process before, to stand up in trial and face this man and face, you know, face the situation and really.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Is a very vindictive, very manipulative person. You know, like I said, I haven't seen him since he was arrested, apart from the time, even in court when I had to stand up. You know, they give the option to the witnesses to have a mask, so I didn't have to actually see his face in court.
So who is this person that you're talking about, and what relevancy do they have to the video being released?
The individual that I'm talking about is a gentleman by the name of Jason, and he got hold of the video. And
How did he get hold of
I
the
don't know the
video?
relationship between Jason and Gucci, but maybe they met. You know, I'm guessing that they would have met and they would have talked about the situation. And Jason is essentially on a.
So this person, Jason, right? So a couple things that I want y'all to get from this, right? She said the video was recorded like close to 10 years ago, right? So that's number one. Number two, she's talking about this guy, Jason, okay? And we're going to get to Gucci in a second.
A very vindictive campaign to ruin my life, essentially, ruin my life, silence me. And, you know, in his words, he wants me to pay the price.
This is very, very confusing, Victoria. There's three people here.
Yeah.
Denzel, Jason, and Gucci. Are they friends?
So Denzel and Jason do not know each other. They're, you know, they're two relationships I had 10 years apart. The similarity between those two relationships was both relationships where I was assaulted and abused, and there's been, you know, the Denzel relationship didn't go, you know, the assault charge didn't go anywhere.
Do
y'all believe her? Do y'all believe anything that she's saying right now? She is stuttering like a motherfucker. She is shaking like a stripper. I don't believe a damn thing that she is saying right now, y'all.
know each other in any way?
Not that I'm aware of.
Like, how do these three people, like, how did this even make any, like, what are we talking about right now? Like, you see how, like, you're literally pulling stuff out of your literal asshole and you're throwing it at a wall, hoping that it sticks. Because what you're saying right now makes no sense. How is Jason where did he come from? Is he a figment in my imagination? Like, what the fuck?
Not that I'm
aware
aware
of. So then
of.
how did Jason get access to the video or know about the video?
So from my understanding, and this is his hearsay, I don't know the facts around it, but my understanding is that Jason paid Gucci to release the video.
But how did he know about the video?
Gucci told him that he still had a copy of the video from 10 years ago.
So Gucci and Jason know each other?
Correct. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And that's where that came from.
Okay. There's still holes. I'm still a bit confused because Gucci said in his statement that he found out that somebody was facing rape charges. And I'm assuming he was referring to Denzel.
He was referring to Denzel, correct.
So he knows Denzel.
Gucci knows both Denzel and Jason.
And Jason, okay,
correct.
fine. That's okay. That makes sense now. Okay.
And in terms of the relationship between Denzel and Gucci, I don't know when or how they met, but when Jason found out he had a copy of this video, he then used that you know, to blackmail and ammunition to say that I'm going to tear you down and release the video. And
what's the timeline of that relationship?
6 months.
6 months. And when was that?
So we met in January, and by August, that's when he had been arrested and remanded by the judge. The judge had made a decision to remand him because he had breached bail conditions on 4 separate occasions, and this was the final occasion. And at this point, you know, the final point when he breached his bail conditions, he'd broken into my house. He had set light to all of my personal possessions in the house. I've got video of him, breaking into my house. And then when I turned up at home later that morning, he then tried to strangle me. I was, you know, at the time, it was the next door neighbor who saw me screaming for my life and trying to climb out the bedroom window to try and protect myself from this guy. They called the police. The police turned up and arrested him on the spot. Unfortunately, he didn't get prosecuted. Said he's on a vendetta. He's on a revenge train, and you know, this is really his opportunity to you know, as he says, get one up on me.
So
but why? Like, what?
When he was blackmailing you, what exactly was he asking for? What did he want from you? What did he want you to do?
So he wanted me to pay him money. That was the bottom line.
Okay.
You know, it was a case
of... How much? What was he asking for? Was there a particular amount?
The messages said I needed to send him 10K now. And if I didn't send him 10K...
10K?
10K, he would release the video. So I said, release the video. I said, release the video. Like I said, you know, I'm really grateful for the support system and network and community that I've built. And I think one of the biggest things... you know, that have
$10,000.
come up in the comments over and over and over again is that, you know, people don't understand, you know, why is it that I haven't had half my followers lost after this video being released. And I feel that, especially if you're new to my page, you know, I've over the last 5 years, I've laid my soul bare. You know, my community have been my rock over the years. I have
now that is very true. All right, folks out here, like, you could literally murder somebody and your following will honestly increase if that's the people. The morals out here are so fucked that I believe her. I believe her when she says that, yeah, you know, ain't nobody going nowhere. Because now she may have lost maybe a couple followers, but a majority of her followers are still going to be there because, you know, people out here are lost, man. Lost zombies.
Never ever shared any of the challenges that I've experienced as a human being, as a woman, around the violence, the domestic violence, the abuse, you know, any of the hardships. You know, people jump on my page and possibly think that, you know, I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth and you know, I'm not a human just like you guys. And I just feel that, you know, yeah, I definitely feel that when people get to know me, and that's the thing, you know, the reason why people are still here today and still supporting my work and my movement is because the individual in that video that expressed that anger and hate towards men isn't who I am today. It really isn't a reflection of who I am, what I stand for, the work that I do. And it's evident, it's really evidence. Like, let's deal with like evidence and facts, you know, with this situation. Yeah.
That is a fact. That is a fact. Okay. So, y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard that. Now, do they have anything else on this page? Do they have anything else on this page about the situation? They do. So let's just check this out real quick.
Funny, the man has jokes.
Let's check this out real quick, man. It's actually not that long, so we can check it out.
The psychological effects that it had on you, how would you describe that?
I kept finding myself in relationships with abusive men.
Do you think that your father being absent in your life contributed to how you view men?
I witnessed the most horrific acts of domestic violence.
All right, well, I don't know what this is dealing with.
He done something wrong, then absolutely justice needs to play its part. But for somebody that's done nothing wrong, it shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't be the case. I feel like, you know, the video should never have come out because it formed part of police evidence, and you know, my legal team are working with the police now.
I'm going to assume that, obviously, not even assumptions, because you've said it, actually, you've learned from this and, you know, you've grown from it. Do you regret the things that you said in that video?
Totally, absolutely. You know, I should never have said the things that I said, and I take full accountability. You know, it's not, you know, karma works in a way where it really shouldn't be anybody's responsibility, you know, to bestow on that person their wrongdoings. We rely so heavily on the justice system, but we know, you know, as a community, that there's so much injustice within the justice system. And I've had to learn that recently myself, you know, having gone through this experience in this last relationship. And I know I'm not the first or the last woman that's going to be let down by the system. And I definitely feel like that we need to be more open and create a safe space for people to be open and honest about, you know, about domestic violence and abuse as a whole.
Yeah, everything you've been through, I've said it multiple times. I'm really sorry that you've endured that. It sounds like so much for one person to go through, and I understand why that would make you maybe make irrational decisions like you did. But for me, it still doesn't justify doing that. I think there's nothing that you say to me personally that.
Thank you, man. Because like that, at the end of the day, like all of this, you know, granted, if you experience any type of craziness or any type of abuse or violence or anything like that, obviously that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's ways to handle that. You know what I mean? Like, you can not talk to this dude. You could possibly move. You can, you know, so like at the end of the day, you got a kid, right? Like, you have a child, right? And so, you know, like, you know, obviously she said she's talked to the police about it. Keep talking to them. You know what I mean? Shit, if you got to hire some security, hire some security, you know? But like, doing this by falsely accusing the dude, like, you just sat here for damn near an hour, right? And you literally still have not come up with a legitimate reason as to why you did what you did. Like, point blank, flat out, you haven't. Not to me, not to her. Like, and normally when it comes to, you know, I mean, I don't want to say it like this, but normally when it comes to women, you know, interviewing each other, you know what I mean? And one woman, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, one woman is having her feet held to the fire. Like, I've seen some really bad interviews where basically, like, it falls into kind of like this echo chamber, you know what I mean? And it ends up being like no one gets held accountable, right? Essentially, you know. But again, like, this this interview was so bad on the part of Victoria because she literally gave no explanation, and the reason is because there is no explanation. There is no reason. Like, you don't do this. You just don't.
That justifies the action that you took. Do you feel, looking back, like, even though you went through the abuse and, you know, you endured a lot of things, that you were justified
What's
in
up,
that
Tori?
moment doing what you did?
There's nothing that can condone anything I said in that video, whether I was abused or beaten up or witnessed. You know, ultimately, like I said, I take responsibility for allowing myself to enter into those spaces and have patterns that I'd seen growing up normalize in my adult life, you know, and enable those patterns. That's one thing I've had to learn and really sit with over the last few years is, I think I said this earlier, is that we don't have the ability to change anyone but ourselves. So the only thing that I'm responsible for is, you know, making sure that I prevent myself from getting back into another abusive relationship. And I've had to do so much work around, you know, letting go of those thoughts and also not holding on to that narrative and letting it stop me go through life. The time that video was taken, I was an alcoholic. I was drinking alcohol, a bottle of 2 of wine every other
God,
day.
now she's an alcoholic. All right, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna move past this because I just can't deal with no more word salad from this chick. I really can't. Excuse me. I just can't do it. All right, so I mean, it's ridiculous. So this is what we're gonna do. So the guy that actually ended up taking the video, right? That actually recorded her, the guy Gucci. Excuse me. He actually went on a podcast. It's called Winners Talking Podcast. He did about a 45-minute interview. We're not gonna look at the whole thing, but I'm gonna try to pull up, you know, some like a clip of it. So
what made you?
All right, here we go. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at it from this perspective. All right. Oh, you already know it, Tori. You already know it. All right, so this is Gucci, right? The guy that, you know, filmed her admitting to the allegations.
Engage with her and start this conversation off. What made you engage with her and start this conversation off?
Bro, I heard what she was doing, and being me, I just had to try and help. It was really just that. It was just a successful mission. I've got to thank God it was a successful operation. I don't know her from Adam before that, and I knew her for about, at most, 4 days.
Yeah. 4 days, and she gave up the draws like that.
So the guy that she was doing it to, you know, I can say I was never gonna say his name because
she's saying his name.
She said his name now, so I can put it. Denzel.
Yeah.
He's actually my cousin's virgin.
Right.
So when I've heard what's going on and where the woman is, I knew, okay, we can make it work.
Yeah.
If I can try a thing. It's only a try. And I'll say by the grace of God it worked. You get me? The operation, how I got the confession and all of that.
Yeah.
And the phone was in my hand as I'm chatting to her. But you know, like, you see that? See, like if I walked into a room and my phone's in my hand like this.
Yeah.
You're not thinking, is it filming?
Yeah.
So I already kind of, from the Wednesday, I knew the next time I see her, when I walk up to her, my phone's gonna be in my hand already.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
So the whole time as I'm chatting to her, the phone's doing this, I'm doing that, making sure I'm getting her name in it, getting his full name in it. His name, I can say his name now, but the reason why the video's cropped, I didn't want the part with his name out there like that. But his name's Denzel. You get it? So
all right, let's go back and try to get a bit chronological order. Like, so how did you know where to find her?
She's Enfield, she's Bay. She's
Right.
Bay. If you're from North London, she's Bay.
Yeah.
And
I
where
don't know
was it?
where
The
that
gym?
is.
David Lloyd's, yeah. Well, it's like I'm promoting them, but yeah,
Yeah,
gym.
all right. All right, so
they better run me some stuff.
So she was in
She ain't
the
gonna be
gym.
there no
So
more.
when you recorded, how many times had you spoken to her before the recording?
2 times.
Okay.
So when I say I had to work charm, I had to work charm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she got that comfortable after 2 conversations.
I had to put in work.
Yeah.
But really and truly, I keep saying, really, the way the mission was successful, she said it herself. She barely knew me.
Yeah.
She said it herself, so it's not like I'm saying something she hasn't said.
Yeah.
And the way the mission worked successfully, it's like the universe said, you know what? This woman has to be stopped.
Yeah,
Because a man would have been all now sitting in jail. 2,000 is minimum 12.
So
how long ago did you film this video? Because she said it's 8 to 10 years old. How long ago did you film the video?
I was going to try and exclusive this one for someone, man, but...
We haven't got time. This is the spot.
this
Let's
is
go.
the spot.
I should exclusive this question for someone, but it's all right. So, in the video,
it's
she's
big.
31, just about to turn 32.
Right.
Yeah.
And I say to her, I say, Victoria, don't go past age 31 doing this stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Right now, I think she's 36, 37.
Right. So it's
Basic maths, primary school maths tells all of us it's maximum 5, 6 years old. Maximum.
Yeah.
She's pushing some 10-year agenda.
Yeah.
Why is it only coming out now though? After 5 to 6 years.
Exclusives, you're killing it, man.
Let's get to
know
it. You're here, bro. Why is it 5 to 6 years?
Bro, you
What? Why is it only coming out now? All right. So again, Denzel, the guy I done the video for, I didn't get it at the time. Like he said, do not put, because I was like, bro, this has to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them times she still had numbers. I think like 100K or something. Like she's always kind of in bait anyway.
Yeah.
He said, no, don't put the video out. And I first I'm thinking, do you still want to hit it or something? Like,
Yeah,
bro,
what's
you're
going
right.
on? Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Like he's protecting her kind
I
of thing.
didn't get it, but now I get it. Innocent or not, he just didn't want his name and that type of allegation being used out there.
I get that.
Because it starts with, hey, you know, like Denzel had a fake charge on him. Then by the third person is like, yo, I'm hearing Denzel done a by the next it's just that allegation, sir. He didn't want his name and that allegation in conversation.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And also he's a football coach, works with children.
Yeah. Right.
Innocent or not, that kind of talk
mad.
there.
It's mad.
My parents might say now, do you know what I'm saying? So I didn't get it at the time.
Yeah.
When he said, don't release the video, cool. I got it later on. And then I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I said, no, let me crop out, because too much has been happening. Too much has been going on. And a lot of managers being sent down for things they ain't done. And so 2 weeks ago, I said, I'm going to put out the video, but I'm going to cut it so that the bit where his name is in it is not in the video.
Yeah.
And that's where she's running with the things heavily edited. No, it's cropped. If anything, I've saved her because some
did
of the
say
parts
that.
that the internet didn't hear is mad.
Now here's the thing, right? Victoria did say that, you know, oh, the video's 10 years old. He's saying, first of all, it's only at max 6 years old, right? So, I mean, it's a little bit of picking hairs, but at the end of the day, it's not as old as she's trying to make it seem, right? So that's number one. Number two, you know, this is the guy that took the video. He literally said that after like 2 conversations, she's already spilling the beans about how she did what she did, right? That is crazy. Like, you would have thought that, I mean, he had to put on some serious charm. Like, I feel like he was like low-key trying to flirt with her. He was doing all this shit. Like, he was really trying to put the Mac down to get this kind of information out. Like, this type of stuff that, like, you gotta have to go to the grave with. Like, you can't just be out here saying this type of stuff and thinking, like, shit's sweet. Like, this is crazy. This is insane, bro.
Are you gonna release the other parts?
Oh, that's mad. There's names, there's people.
So no.
So when you say that, so there's names, so there's more than one guy. Like,
yeah, she's talking certain things and this and that with man in North as well that I respect, man. I don't want to bring man's this. Yeah. So I'm only all I did was pop it.
You don't have to put out everything.
Let me ask you that.
I don't know. I didn't.
Does anyone in the stream know who Jason is? That you see? Let me tell you, which camera is looking at me? Whichever camera. You see that, Victoria? Make sure you stop this coconut selling thing and go into script writing, because she's cold with the script writing and how quickly she came up with that storyline of Jason. Tried to, because I watched it and there was and I thought to myself, why did she even make up a new character called Jason? I didn't understand that part. That's later on. She's connected the dots. She couldn't lie and say that I tried to blackmail her with it. I already gave the video to feds. 5 years ago to get a man off the case. I can't now come and blackmail you with it. So she thought, I can't lie that way. She said someone called Jason, another partner, who was also abusive, who she actually did send to jail. So I think what she's trying to do is she has sent a man to jail when she's thinking he also might come out and talk things. Let me just...
That's wild.
Collaborate everything in one.
Great work on getting the tape, though. Great work. Great work. You saved the man's life there. You saved the man's life.
That's another thing I wanted to ask you as well, because so just so there's clarity, so he was banged up like he was on remand or something for this.
All right, so I would highly suggest that y'all go watch that. Right, like I said, it's like a 45-minute interview. It's very, very interesting, but basically, he kind of saved his friend from kind of going down a very, very dark path. But so I mean, basically that's pretty much where it's at right now. Victoria Everest has some other allegations going on with her. Apparently, she scammed somebody that she's working with. Like she's got a whole thing going on with her. Like, she is not innocent by any means necessary, and it's really come as a shock to me because, again, I used to follow this chick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to follow her. Like, so when I saw her face attached to this, I'm like, oh shit, that's who it is. So it was very, very it was crazy. But so far that's pretty much what it is. I just, if there's any updates, I'll be sure to let y'all know. But, Victoria, like, this is some fucked up ass shit. Like, regardless of, whatever was going on in y'all's relationship, like, you don't come out and do no shit like this. You just don't do it. You know what I mean? And me personally, I feel like people that false flag like this need to, they have to pay some consequences. Like, you just do. You know what I mean? Now, she talked about there was some consequences going on. She did get charged with something, and they did kind of reprimand her, and that's good. Like, she needs that. You know what I mean? Straight up. But if there's any updates with this, I'll be sure to let y'all know. But that's pretty much all I had with this. Make sure y'all like, make sure that y'all, hype up the video. But I rock with y'all, man. I love y'all. But I just had to catch this, and just live stream with this because this was just a crazy ass story. But all right, y'all, I'm be out. Peace.